And welcome back into Open Line. Chuck Long here with Kevin Kennedy. We are taking those legal questions that you have. We've had great calls, great questions. We're going to go right back to the lines right now. But by the way, if you are just tuning in, make sure you get online with us at 737-7587. So talking to one of the best legal minds in the business, Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. Kevin, we've got a lot of callers. We want to get back to them right now. Okay. Hal is on the line with us. Hal, we appreciate your patience. We're glad that you stayed on the line with us. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yeah, I have a question and I got a comment. I got both.
Okay.
All righty.
I wanted to find out about Major League Baseball. They chose to go in the Hall of Fame, and the first one that they chose was David Ortiz. And they had other ones, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, let's see, Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling, different ones. And they didn't make it, but they're deserving to be in there. And I want to get your opinion on how would they get in the Hall of Fame and all. Hang up and listen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for the comment. And you know, it gets back to that old world of politics. Some people say, well, I'm not into politics, and I'm not. Well, guess what? My daughter was a beauty queen, and was there politics in that? Hello, come in. Both my sons were president of the university. Was it politics in that? So guess what? My son-in-law is a baseball coach. And you know, wherever you go at the university, it's going to be politics. Well, I don't like it. And quite frankly, I agree with you, sir. I was telling Chuck during one of the breaks, I saw Alex Rodriguez at the National Trial Lawyers in Miami. And it was a fascinating story. Got to talk to him. And so, you know, he'd made all these millions. He was up to bat, and he got in trouble, allegedly over some steroid. And of course, I asked him a question when I said, what was your worst day? Was it on the field? And he said, no, the worst day is when we went into court. Of course, all the lawyers across the nation, they wanted to hear that because they think they're in the worst, and there are terrible days. But no, thank you for your analysis. Do I think someone could sue somebody over it? I do. I sure do.
All right, thanks so much for calling in there, Hal. All right, let's go right back to our lines. Rose is on the line with us. Rose, we're glad that you're joining us. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, is there anywhere where you can go that if you have outstanding credit cards and you want to get out of them, is there any way that I'm financing my car. Is there any way that I can do it without losing my car?
Yes, great question. Thank you so much for it, because there's thousands of people at the same spot. Credit cards are $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $60,000. I can't pay them, but I don't want to lose my car. I'm paying $400 a month. We have a bankruptcy code, and yes, you can reaffirm that debt, and there's a way to keep your car, and you can get rid of it. You need to talk to a bankruptcy lawyer. There's Chapter 7s and Chapter 13s, but I would encourage you to take a proactive approach. If you learned anything from Kevin Kennedy, do not wait till we are sued, Chuck. If you know we've got a problem, let us march into the lawyer and let us move on them before they move on us. And if they move, remember, Kevin Kennedy always has an exit strategy. You will never hem him up. You may think you've got him hemmed up, but you won't have him hemmed up, because there'll be a way, because he's already thought about it and he's discussed it with the lawyers. And so if we move A, they can move B, C, or D, but then we're going to move to E. So I'd encourage you, yes ma'am, sooner the better, make an appointment and go see them.
All right, great advice. Thanks for that call, Rose. All right, let's go back to the lines right now. I think Sharon is on the line with us. Sharon? Do you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a question. A caregiver stole money from me. We were only two people in the room, and I know she got it. And I'm trying to find out if I could sue the company or get my money back some type of way.
Okay. Well, here we go. It's kind of a bailment law. And that's like if you take your car and you leave it and you have a pistol in there or you have valuables in there. Is that garage owner responsible? Well, guess what? Both sides get lawyers. And if I was representing you, I'd try to say yes. Now, you'll say, well, we've got a sign up here that says we're not responsible for your valuables. Well, that's still a gray area. And they also say, hey, Chuck, when you signed your car in, you signed this and it said you're not responsible. That's a gray area. Was it a good understanding? really creative lawyer could say, look, that's not right, and we're going to advance. And depending on the money, if we owned the company and we were convinced, you do the right thing. I always tell business owners, just do the right thing. We'll come out at the end way ahead, and people will respect you, they will love you, they will do business. But if you're on an agenda to deceive and deceit and cheat, my Bible says you're going to reap what you sow, and some of these lawyers will make a believer out of you.
All right. Thanks so much. All right. Let's go right back to the calls. Terry is on the line with us. Terry, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I've got a question. I was in an accident in 2019 from where a guy had collided into my car on purpose, and he had totaled my car out.
Sorry.
And when he jumped out of his truck, he aimed a pistol at my head. And I'm in a process right now of going through a lawsuit. And it has totally damaged my neck and the middle of my back. And I was just wanting to know, what can I do about that? I mean, I've got a lawyer on this.
Yes.
But I've got over $300,000 in doctor bills.
Wow. Well, here's the first analysis, and I'm glad you got a lawyer. Get a lawyer as soon as it happens. Get us in early. It will make a difference for any lawyer. So if you've got a problem, go immediately. Number two, one of the questions is, how much liability insurance does that other side have? So we could have $300,000 in medical bills. We're entitled to that compensation. But guess what? If there's only a $50,000 or $100,000, that's where it is. That's where a lawyer can say, don't run this up, pay us that money now. Don't let it be all absorbed with medical bills. Something for you to consider. Number two, that is outrageous conduct. When they pulled that pistol, I think you're entitled to punitive damages. What are punitive damages? Punitive goes to punish them. So if they had a home, you could sue them, get a judgment. You can put a lien foreclose on that home because that is going to punish them for that bad behavior. If they have an accident and they're going to pay you for that, that's compensatory damages. Great place for me to say to everyone, with the economy in uproar, a lot of people are on the road right now with no insurance. I'm telling you, you go get uninsured motorists. It's just a very small amount to add it on. I don't sell insurance. Chuck doesn't sell it. We're just giving advice to try to protect your family. Get it? And then if there's a problem, you can bring a claim against that policy and recover.
Thank you so much for that call, Terry. We are glad that you're watching us here on Open Line. All right, let's go right back to our lines right now. I think it's Dojan is on line one with us. Dojan, do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I have a question.
You're watching us here on Open Line. All right, let's go right back to the line right now. All right, go ahead. I think is on line one with us. Dojan.
My name's David.
Okay, David?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
I have the code on the Tennessee real estate thanks to the Vanderbilt Law Library and the Tennessee State Library. In 2010, I paid cash money for two houses. I paid $12,000, and I put this female on the regular deed. I was never told about the quitclaim deed, and she switched it over to her father. Then the father sold my houses to her son. The courthouse calls me up and says, hey, your houses have been sold. I know the value of different things, and I had $100,000 worth of property in these houses. They went in my house and stole my $100,000 worth of property. The police department will not take out an investigation. I had an eyewitness. When I went to court, the female was never arrested. The state done a piss poor job of representing me. The other parties have been paid off. That's fraud.
I've been deceived. That is extortion. You do not lie to a police officer. That's perjury. It's all been paid off by one person, handed down. They've got wrong names, wrong dates. Everything has been switched around the way they want it. And I've lost $140,000.
Wow. Well, David, I am so sorry to hear about your circumstance. And if that were to happen to someone else, you know, you go to the police. If they're blowing you off, ask for a supervisor. If they're blowing you off, keep going up the chain till somebody, it's that old saying, the squeaky door gets the oil. If you don't keep advancing your rights, they can be pushed to the side and lost in the shuffle. Does it happen? Sure. Do lawyers know how to do that? Sure. They try to get that done. The other point I want to make is I would still try to pursue that, even though someone comes back and says, well, they're not going to do it. You may get somebody later who will pick it up and pursue it. What they also have is unjust enrichment. That lady, you could turn around and sue her. There's also a cause of action called conversion, where she converted your property to hers without the legal right to do so. So there's a couple of lawsuits. Now remember this, can we sue them? Absolutely. Can we get a judgment? Probably. Can we collect? That's a maybe, because that person can go out and file a bankruptcy, and you know what you get, Chuck, when they file bankruptcy on you?
Nothing.
Nothing. Now, sometimes we can say their behavior was so egregious that it will not be released in the bankruptcy court, but there's another fight. But I'm telling you, you just keep on pursuing with the state. That's what your tax dollars are for those guys down there to pursue crimes. And as a part of that punishment, restitution should come to you. Thank you for calling.
Absolutely. Great advice, Kevin. All right, we've got you on the line with us. We're going to try to get to as many calls as we can in this last half hour, actually last segment that's coming up. So get online with us, 737-7587. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with those calls. You're watching Open Line.